A battle that was always supposed to take place. The big YouTuber versus the small YouTuber. The incel guy drinking Mountain Dew who sits in his bedroom versus the IFBB pro. The ADHD kid versus the teacher. Truly a tale as old as time here. So if it wasn't obvious, Greg Doucette has responded to my video I posted about a month ago. Greg Doucette's worst scam yet. Don't fall for this. And calm down there, big guy. You got a little heated.
So we got this guy, his name is Chimera Fitness, and he...
Damn, you know it's serious when Greg Doucette pronounces a name correctly.
Juju Mufu. I'm going to attack him because everyone is going to support me. They're going to simp to me.
Who said anything about simping? Why'd you use the word simp? That's a bit sus, Greggy boy.
It's like David versus Goliath, but the problem is Goliath's a lot bigger, a lot smarter.
Does he realize that he never said Goliath is the good guy in this situation? Like, he knows Goliath was the bad guy, right? But he didn't feel the need to specify Goliath is smart and the good guy. He just said that he's smarter. Therefore, is he still the bad guy? Now, I know I'm being a little bit all over the place. So what I've done is I officially laid out a couple of sections where I'm going to be going into some things that I feel make Greg's video really, really bad, and just point out some of the contradictions in his logic so that I can give you guys something a little bit more palatable than the unstructured mess that was this debate so far.
And he uses my name as clickbait. It's fun, I get it. You clickbait my name, you can become more popular. And no, you don't sell supplements, and so you have nothing to lie about. But you're trying to be a fitness influencer.
Oh no! He used my name in his video to get views! I can't think of a single other YouTuber that does that. Literally, there's not one YouTuber that does this. He's just such a clout chaser, bro. He's such a clout chaser. Why would anybody ever use someone's name to get views? Seriously though, I have never seen one YouTuber shoot themselves in the foot so fucking fast. And the comments are seeing it too. There were several comments just saying like, dude, you make videos on people all the time. And then there's another person saying like, damn, doesn't feel so good to be Sam Sulek, does it? Because they're pointing out how Greg makes a video about Sam Sulek every fucking day. I just find it really fucking funny that the guy who literally posts 2 videos a day saying Jesse James West this, Sam Sulek that, Will Tennyson did this, these 2 people had a disagreement. I find it just funny that the guy that does that for a living is trying to say that it's bad for me to use his name in my video. I just think that's a bit hypocritical. Let's just point out how hypocritical he is. Greg Doucette has made 6 videos on a topic as niche as Alex Eubank maybe contemplating one day possibly using steroids. That's not how many videos he's made on Alex Eubank. No, that ranges more in like the 30s or the 20s. No, he's made 6 videos on just that one specific topic. Same thing with Sam Sulek. Sam Sulek has been really famous for about a year. In that 1 year, Greg Doucette has made 7 videos talking about Sam Sulek's diet, like specifically his diet, not his, training style, not his mindset, not his fan base. He's made videos on all that stuff too, but he's also made 7 videos on just his fucking diet. How many times can you rinse and repeat the exact same video on the exact same topic? Greg, looking back on it, maybe I was exaggerating a little bit in my title. I maybe you're not a scam artist. I was just, throwing the word scam artist in there because it's really palatable, really grabs the attention, holds people there. It's something that, YouTubers do. It's called clickbait. A good example is the thing that you did where you made a video in the video title, clickbaited one of the Trend Twins being dead. No, seriously, in the initial release to this video, he literally had the video titled Killed by Caffeine. It's just Mike now. Yeah, that's just fucking wild clickbait, man. I assume he changed it because he got a lot of hate for it. You did that with a couple other things too. It's kind of how your whole video premise is. The clickbait of saying something like Jesse James West is no longer natural, and then you click on it, and it's because he injected aminos past a certain fucking point. You could say I learned from the best. Another thing Greg does in this video is he argues with himself a lot. Why do I say he's arguing with himself? Because he's definitely not arguing against anything I ever said.
4 pounds in a month. Is that the same as saying 40 pounds in 10 months? No. Did I say that you're going to continue to build 4 pounds per month indefinitely? No.
What a coincidence. I didn't say that either. Greg just claimed that turkesterone is good for diabetes, anemia, and it ups quality of life.
If a study said that creatine works, and I say, hey, there's a study that says creatine works, you get mad at me for reading the study?
I never said there was anything wrong with reading a study. I think it's good to read studies. The problem comes whenever there is no objectivity in the matter and you make it seem like it's not only capable of being some miracle drug, but it also is really good at packing on muscle mass. You see how it just becomes a bit fishy whenever you say it does all of this shit, but also is the strongest natural supplement you can take, won't suppress your testosterone, and will pack on fucking 4 pounds of muscle in a month. It smells like you just walked by a Long John Silver's. You know, it's a bit fishy. This gets especially brain dead whenever you realize every other science-based content creator is saying, really overhyped, whereas the guy selling it to me is the one who's saying, oh, no, it's great. I mean, you know, that just sounds a bit convenient, doesn't it?
Remember years ago when I made videos saying, hey, the top 5 fat burners that work, and I said over-the-counter fat burners work, and then years later people said, oh, Coach Greg, he's saying fat burners work now because he's selling it.
I literally never said I had a problem with you having a fat burner. In fact, I think it's perfectly fine that you sell a fat burner. Do you know why though? Because you are objective about it. You market it in a way that I think is right. You say, hey, it's not going to get you shredded, but it may help out with appetite suppression and burning a little bit of calories. And I think that's a fine way to market it. You're not saying it's going to make you drop 5 pounds of fat in a week and also kill every craving you've ever had. But on top of that, it's also good for sleep anxiety and everything else you can fucking think of.
And do we have the testing to prove this? Yes. Have you looked? No. And so you say I'm making this shit up. Oh, he's saying go test it, but it costs tens of thousands of dollars. Who would ever test it? It's been tested. Go look it up.
So Greg is really heated here because in his last video that I was reacting to, he said,
I double dog dare you to get it tested.
And so I did a stupid brain dead little Google search joke where I like searched up like how much would it like cost to get tested, just to do a funny little gag, you know? Yeah, and he didn't like that very much because in this video he spends half of it yapping about how the product is in fact real and that there are already tests to prove it. Maybe my logic is a bit wrong here, Greg, but who were you arguing with? If there are already all the tests, why are you saying I double dog dare you to get it tested? Were you challenging me to retest it? That doesn't make much sense either. Cause like your brother, whenever he commented on my video, said for me to go to Nootropics Depot and contact them. But like that logic doesn't make too much sense either. Cause like if I'm questioning the validity of your first test, why on earth would I go and test with the exact same facility that you just tested with? I know they probably all have the same equipment and therefore their tests would all probably say the same thing. And that's nothing crazy, just kind of a funny little point I thought of.
And so is there something wrong with me making money? Do you know that I make money on ads? You know I made over $1 million in ads in a year from having commercials on my videos. Should I take off all the commercials? How dare me try to make $1 million from commercials on YouTube? Should I get rid of all those? Why would I do this? Should I have to give away my cookbooks for free? I am not allowed to make money because I just love fitness. Am I not allowed to love fitness and try to improve lives and make money at the same time?
This is my personal favorite. I never said I had a problem with you making money. I want to make money. Grandma wants to make money. Grandpa wants to make money. The president of the United States wants to make money. Every dumbass on the planet wants to make money. It would be colossally brain dead to argue against making money doing what you love. What I actually said in the clip that you conveniently cut out of that video of yours is that I had a problem with how you were implementing your supplements into your videos. I don't like how every video feels like an ad because now it doesn't really seem like you offer the solution and the product. It seems like the product is the solution. Greg, you in the past, whenever it comes to losing weight, you would have said something like, it's about low calorie dense foods, and my cookbook does make it easy to, find these kind of recipes if you don't want to go looking for them. I also have some here on the channel though if you want to go look at those. Now the solution is, oh, you're not shredded? It's because you didn't buy my fucking cookbook. Greg has the most integrity of anybody on the platform. How do you know that? Don't worry, he'll tell you.
I have integrity and I know I'm not lying. I'm not lying to you.
Someone with a lot of integrity such as himself would never do something like, I don't know, market side effects is a good thing. And then whenever someone says, this is not a good thing, look back and say, oh, no, I never meant it as a good thing.
Now remember, I say the good, the bad, and the ugly. I didn't say everything about Turk Builder is amazing.
Greg, this whole I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly shit kind of flies out the fucking window whenever you make the bad shit sound really good in your video. Example.
That it also had steroid-like effects. And I do believe there was a major disclaimer on the screen. It said exactly what those were. And I described them. For example, when taking Turk Builder, it made it harder for me to sleep. It potentially gave me anxiety. It made me more aggressive in the gym. And so those are steroid-like effects. Has anyone out there taken things like tren or testosterone? Sometimes it makes it harder to sleep. You get, for example, trensomnia. And so when taking Turk Builder, I warn people, it's very, very potent. And I don't want to just say all the good things it does without saying the bad. Does it sound like a good side effect to say it makes it harder to sleep?
Well, I don't know, Greg. You sure made it sound like a good fucking thing in the last video.
This is almost like a stay awake supplement. For some people, this might be ideal for shift workers. I mean, as you know in the last video, I described how I only needed 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night.
See, whenever someone is labeling something as a potential downside, they probably wouldn't use the phrase, I only needed 3 to 5 hours of sleep. They'd probably say something more along the lines of, I was only able to get 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night. Now, Greg, I know you were a teacher, so I know you know the difference between a positive implication and a negative implication, and I feel very, very confident in the fact that you chose this positive implication on purpose because you did admit that this is literally just an ad for turkesterone.
That is in fact what it is. It's a great commercial.
Another thing he did this with is the halo testing argument. You see, he said, oh, when I said steroid-like effects, I was talking about the side effects. You know, the aggression, the bad shit, you know, the nasty bad shit. Ooh, boo, boo, aggression. It makes you anxious. No, the f*** you weren't, Greg. You were not making it sound like a bad thing. It is ridiculous to try to pretend that to anybody who watched your original video. Even the tone of your voice was positive.
Halo makes you very aggressive, makes you want to attack the weights. Not really good for your mental health. It doesn't make you think clearly. It's not the best feeling in the world. Sometimes you get a bit of anxiety. And so perhaps you take Turk Builder and you're on edge. You can't sleep as well. Are these positive things or perhaps reasons to stay away from it? Went to the gym, couldn't believe it, had more energy, wanted to push harder, was very androgenic in terms of making me feel wired up to want to push harder than last time.
Listen, if you want to say the aggression and the anxiety is a good thing, then say it's a good thing. If you want to say it's a bad thing, say it's a bad thing. Just fucking stick to one, though. Don't do this thing where you're painting it as a positive, and then at the slightest ounce of criticism, you're like, oh, no. You backtrack and say, I was talking about it as a negative. If you think it's a negative thing, fucking own it. Say it's a negative thing. Or if it's a mixed bag scenario where it's good for some people and bad for others, then say that. But don't you fucking dare hold both stances, but choose one based on what I say in an attempt to make me look bad for literally just reacting to something that you fucking said. Be honest. Say exactly what you said in this video. Say, hey, this supplement has steroid-like side effects. One last little thing that people with a lot of integrity do is steal people's jokes.
Does he expect to say, oh, I got so much hungrier and so much stronger, it was stronger than test mixed with meth?
No, Greg. I made the meth joke. You took my joke. You see, you took my joke. I made the meth joke. Play my clip from the last video. It keeps him up so well that he only needs 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night. He showed a screenshot where he's claiming somebody is giving it to their night guards to keep them awake. You know what this shit sounds like? Fucking meth. Bro's lacing this shit. Okay, there we go. You see how the joke was mine, but you cut it out of your video?
Yeah, it made them feel better.
Are you sure about that?
Not really good for your mental health. It doesn't make you think clearly. It's not the best feeling in the world. Sometimes you get a bit of anxiety.
Now, this is the most vague category. There's a lot that can be boiled down to Greg just not understanding what's going on.
And so when I said 4 pounds of muscle, let me be very specific to what that meant. The scale went up 4 pounds and my body fat did not increase. I looked bigger, fuller, I was stronger, much better. 4 pounds in a month.
Bro literally just said, let me clarify on this 4 pounds of muscle in a month statement. I gained 4 pounds of muscle in a month. And I kind of want to harp on this a little bit, because if it wasn't actually muscle mass and it was like water or something, then the other comments in the video don't really line up with his logic. You see, a while back, Greg made a video about Connor Murphy, and Connor Murphy did this clickbait thing where he claimed he gained 10 pounds of muscle in a week, and you click on the video and you realize it's all because he said creatine put on 10 pounds to him in a week. And Connor says, like, "Ah, man, you know what? Listen, I know most of it's water weight." And then Greg Doucette comes out and says, "Well, I mean, if it's 10 pounds of water weight and it looks like 10 pounds of muscle mass, I'd consider it 10 pounds of muscle mass." Okay, Greg, I follow you. So, by your logic, creatine is capable of packing on 10 pounds of water weight in a month to hyper responders, and EDKey steroids are capable of packing on 4 pounds of muscle in a month. So by your logic, creatine is much, much better at putting on muscle mass than EDKey and Turk. Then later on in the video, you think Turk is 100% better than creatine.
In my opinion, works way better than creatine.
You know how fucking stupid you have to be to even think something like that, let alone say it publicly and act like you're fucking serious.
And so when I said I put on 4 pounds in a month, how much did you put on? Did you put on any? Perhaps you only put on 2.
I would confidently say that turkesterone or edkesterone or whatever did not pack on any muscle mass on my frame. In fact, the appetite increase was kind of a bitch to deal with, and I'm being real with you. You see, I'm somebody who has to eat a lot of low-calorie dense foods to keep my abs and stuff like that. So, you know, having an appetite increase was kind of a real bitch to deal with. Let's go ahead and see, like, what's the average cost of getting something tested to see if anybody would dare to challenge him. Bro.
And so what it really costs is $350 US. And so although he Googled to see how much it would cost, he didn't get the right answer. You think that Google just answers everything?
The exact dollar amount doesn't mean diddly dick, bro. The idea was that asking people to pay extra money to get something tested just so they can then buy your product is a weird tactic, because people aren't going to do that. They're not going to go through the trouble of doing that. They're just going to buy the product. I was saying it was kind of like a false call out. And also, like, $350 is still like not nothing, you know, like that's still $350, bro. Literally get like a whole new monitor for that.
Why would I not advertise what I'm selling effectively? Is there anything wrong with being an effective marketer?
I am literally not saying that it is bad to market your own products. I was simply pointing out the marketing tactics so that people know that they are being marketed to before they make any decisions. Every single video feels like a commercial now, and that's just not cool. I don't with it, man.
Every time I used to watch a TV show when I was a kid, there was a commercial and it would sell me something, a G.I. Joe character, friggin' McDonald's or whatever.
No, Greg. You see, a TV show is separate from the commercials. Your videos and your ads are the same thing. It's kind of like, imagine you have the homies over and you crank up some good old Bobble Sponge, right? And it has the normal commercial breaks. But in addition to that, anytime you feel like the plot is going to go anywhere, or you feel like you're actually going to finish the episode right before the episode ends, a fucking giant ad pops up on screen and it's like, "Hey, do you want to know how this ends? Buy the ebook version of the episode."
And so, Chimera Fitness, buy. Unsubscribe. I don't want to see you.
What, you think this is fake? You think this is fake? You think I, Greg Doucette, would fake this turkesterone? You think I, despite having done it once already, would fake this?
And so in case you're wondering, I never lied to anyone. I never said, "Hey, I'm going to sell you turkesterone and I'm going to put some creatine in the bottle and fake it." This is what this guy is trying to make it look like, that I somehow lied purposely to deceive you to try to get your money. Didn't do that. What actually happened is that ISO certified lab testing, the ones that the government recognizes FDA standards, all said this is turkesterone. But when they did mass spectrometer testing, advanced level testing that's not needed to be done, they found it was turkesterone's cousin, slightly different. Both effective, but slightly different. Analogous to saying, "Hey, is this red paint?" Somebody put a yellow drop of paint into it. It's not really red paint. It's reddish yellow paint. There's a drop of yellow. It changed it slightly. And the testing couldn't detect that. It was slightly off, but the mass spectrometer, very good test, said, no, it's slightly different.
Little context behind this. Greg, I was just reacting to the video and going off of previous information. So, if this is true, if you got lied to or there was some technical issue and you were in fact trying to sell people real turkesterone in the beginning, then I am sorry for that specific joke. I still have a problem with how you're marketing the turkesterone and the edkesterone. However, if you were not being intentionally deceitful, then I am sorry for that joke particularly, and any joke I made related to that. And you know, while I'm on this topic of all the apologetic stuff, I want to be very, very fucking clear in my thought process, right? I do not have a problem with selling supplements. I will never have a problem with you selling supplements. My complaints in the last video were purely levered at the fact that I feel like it has compromised your content, and also I do not feel like your claims hold up to basic logic. I have a problem with how you market your supplements, not the fact that you sell supplements. I will never have a problem with the fact that anybody sells supplement as long as they market it appropriately and it does not come across as deceitful. And if I feel like it compromises the quality of your content, then yes, I'm going to call it out. And I do want to say this also right now. In the future, if it comes out that it is truly as good as you've been hyping it up, then yeah, I'll eat my fucking words, okay? And like, I want turkesterone to be this strong. It would be fucking great if there was a natural supplement that did not crash your testosterone levels, helped with every other fucking illness on the planet, and also packed on 4 pounds of muscle in a month, and also was as good as taking low-dose steroids. That would be fucking fantastic. Who wouldn't want that to be real? But like, I'm not living in some fairy tale land where I'm going to be coping and just believing anything that sounds too good to be true, especially when the only person hyping it up this much is the guy that's selling it to me. But like I said, if it comes out in the future that it is truly this good and everybody else is starting to eat their words, and then you know what? I'll probably try it. And if it is truly that good, I'll eat my fucking words. But in the meantime, I am going to call out the claims and poke fun at them because I think they're bullshit. I do not mean any personal hate towards you or anybody else. I do have other criticisms though, so I am going to continue because I still do not agree with how you are marketing this product. Point. This is kind of a little bonus round. It's a pretty short point, but Greg, whenever you said that I would get a lot of views by, you know, trashing your name to get views, to get clout and stuff like that, no, I actually think it would have been a much smarter decision for me if I just put out some like bullshit review saying like, oh, turkesterone's fantastic, whenever I do not believe that, just so that you would maybe react to that video and say like,
Oh my God, go subscribe to Kimura Fitness. Go subscribe to Kimura Fitness.
and I wouldn't have 2.7 million people mad at me. Wouldn't that be a better move for me? You know, instead of throwing my video in the endless pile of people who are criticizing you, I think I would have had a much better chance of getting clout if I had actually praised you. I feel like there are really few videos praising you for this, you see. So if I joined that pile, I'd probably get picked up in a heartbeat. Is your ego really so fucking high that nobody can have an opinion of you without it automatically be,
oh, they're trying to slander me for clout?
You see, this is a ridiculous argument too, because like, if you did in 2 seconds of research and actually looked at my channel, you'd realize that I don't just make videos on people who are absolutely popping. I made a video on Dylan O'Brien not too long ago, and nobody was fucking talking about him. I just made the video because I thought he made a pretty shit video. So I just think it's a bit disingenuous to say my opinion is purely based on clout.
Coach Greg, and boy, do I love these kind of videos. And I am selling it, and if you don't want to buy it, that's fine! Powerful. And so is it possible that it helped me 1/6 as much as testosterone, tren, and so on?
See, Greg and me have had this debate going on now about the whole like turkesterone / EdKey versus PEDs. And like, one question that just pops in my head every time I think about this is, if you're saying that it's more like steroid like side effects and not steroid like gains, then why are you going through so much trouble to compare it to low-dose anavar, which is a steroid?
Did I say gave comparable results to 3 banned compounds, or did I say a small dose of one compound, of which it was anavar?
I mean, saying this whole like, I never said steroid-like gains, but it gives you steroid-like gains thing is just a bit weird in my opinion. You know, I really didn't think I had to explain that turkesterone and edkesterone are probably not the same as, you know, steroids like anavar or even SARMs, but sadly, I do actually have to comment on this being weaker than actual PEDs. And don't you dare fucking say,
Oh, they're on the fucking list, though. They're on WADA's watch list.
Science.
if it was this fucking good, you don't think that somebody would be like, there's this stuff that you guys haven't put on a list?
Steroids, of which turkesterone is one of them, is in fact on the list.
I was referring to the fucking ban list, you know, where all the actual PEDs are. Also, in my opinion, the watch list argument isn't a very good one either, because EdKey steroids have been on the watch list for 4 years. Whenever another PED that we're going to talk about later, MK677, after being added to the monitoring list, was only on the monitoring list for 1 year before fully being banned. Also, being on the monitor list doesn't really mean jack shit if I'm being real. Do you know what else else is on the monitoring list? Every supplement you've ever taken, vitamin D3, beetroot juice, and caffeine have all been part of the monitoring list before. Yeah, does WADA not like it very much? No, they think you're a little bit of a sussy baka if you use it. Last time I checked, you can't use anavar or halotestin in competition. I also in the video said something to the effect of, I don't think turkesterone is as good as steroids. I laid out my experience with turkesterone, and I said all I felt was a slight increase in strength, like no more than creatine, and maybe a slight increase in hunger. And here's what Greg had to say about that.
What does he expect? Does he expect to say, oh, I got so much hungrier and so much stronger?
I don't know, Greg. You told me I was supposed to feel halotestin like anger and aggression.
And the aggressive part, the way it made you feel for the other two. And so for me, it made me feel like I was on halotestin, test suspension, way more energy to push harder than last. Really does have steroid-like effects. Yep, you can hate me. You can right now get into it, had more energy, wanted to push harder, was very androgenic. Steroid-like effects, that's how I had it.
He literally said it feels the same as low-dose anavar. He then said, if I took anavar, I would probably notice essentially nothing.
Why is turkesterone compared to low-dose anavar a ridiculous comparison? I'm willing to bet that if I were to sell him in secret low-dose anavar and he took it, he probably wouldn't even notice he's taking it. Maybe make him a bit stronger and a bit hungrier.
But I'm also supposed to have halotestin-like aggression. So, like, what is it? Do I feel nothing, or do I feel halotestin-like anger and aggression?
Where was my halotestin like aggression, Craig?
I certainly didn't get it whenever I took turkesterone. But I'm a hyper responder. Okay, then don't advertise it like everyone is going to see the same fucking gains that you saw. Say it maybe increase your strength a little bit, it'll increase your hunger probably, and for you hyper responders, maybe you'll see 4 pounds of muscle gain in a month. Say it like that. I know plenty of people who would still buy that product. You would come across as less salesy, and I don't feel like anybody would have a problem with you marketing it like that. You see, because you keep saying these exaggerated claims, you then have to backtrack later. It makes you come across as fake. Don't say it feels like nothing, then literally 3 sentences later follow it up with, it has halotestin like aggression and anger. Like, those two things cannot exist at the same time. And more than that, this whole offering your experience without any clarification that most people probably won't see that same result, so that later on you can go back and say, oh, it was just my experience. I was talking about my experience. It's a pretty scummy way to market, in my opinion. And don't you dare tell me that you did give caveats, because you have not given any caveats for Turk Builder. You may have given caveats for Edkey Builder in the past, but no, you have not done that with Turk Builder now. But no, you have not done that with Turk Builder. You know, Greg, you're not really a snake oil salesman, you're right. You're more of a car salesman, just a big old exaggerator. You'll say anything and everything in vague enough terms to get me to buy some piece of shit car that has a 20% chance of getting me from point A to point B, but also has an 80% chance of breaking down 4 miles from the dealership. And then following it up with, oh, I was just telling you my experience with the car. I mean, I thought maybe you would be lucky, bro. My bad for not telling you it had an 80% chance of doing close to nothing. Another debate we had was when I asked the simple question of, what do you think you would see better results on, turkesterone or MK677, so that I could draw a little comparison between this thing not being as good as steroids, probably not even as good as SARMs. And here's what Greg said about that.
Turk Builder. Off the top of my head, Turk Builder can be better results than MK677. I've done both. MK677, I don't like the way it makes me feel. It makes me bloated, holds a lot of water, get a puffy moon face. In comparison, Turk Builder makes me look more shredded. I look more like this and less like a bloated piece of shit. MK677, I don't like it.
No, Greg. I said, what would give you better results, not what do you feel better on. But even if you are talking about feel, I have a couple of questions. You see, because so far you've said that turkesterone makes you have insomnia, makes it where you're anxious and angry all the time. So I don't know about you guys, but I'd much rather have a little bit of bloating than be an angry asshole who can't sleep. I don't know. Maybe that's just me though. Maybe that's just me. Let's talk a little bit more about this feeling argument. You see, Greg said, well, you're natural. So like, what would you even know about how this shit feels? You don't have a right to comment on how these things would probably feel compared to each other. But he didn't do the basic fucking mental gymnastics to realize that anybody who works out has met or knows somebody who is enhanced. So I actually happen to know someone who's taken MK, anavar, test, and Edkey / Turk. And so let's sit down for a little interview with him. So first of all, I guess, like, have you taken turkesterone?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Can you just tell me what your like honest thoughts were like while you were on it?
I felt kind of like how you feel when you take creatine. You like are thinking and you're yearning for some results, like maybe some strength, or maybe you look a little bigger, or maybe it looks like you packed on some more size, but really you don't see much over time. That's kind of how I felt taking it. Wonder when it was gonna kick in and stuff.
For sure. I completely get that. Same experience I had. Did you have any like side effects with it or anything like that?
No, I didn't notice really much from it at all.
Okay, got you. Nice. How, can you tell us maybe how long you took it for?
I took it for about a month.
And then did you notice anything like any like energy difference like coming off of it or anything like that?
No, I can't say I did.
Moving on to a different one. Have you taken MK677 or ibutamorin?
Yes.
Can you tell us like roughly how you felt on that one?
I noticed I slept really deep. I felt great. Like throughout the day, felt well rested. I took it before bed. There was a day where I took it throughout the day on accident with the rest of the other stuff that I was thinking. I was really hungry.
So appetite increase is pretty insane on it.
Yeah, I noticed a big difference for sure.
That's what I've heard. How would you say it affected your gym performance?
I was on quite a other, I guess, supplements at the time too, and I was feeling pretty good. So I can't directly point it at MK, but I was taking other things too. They were also boosting performance, and at the time, performing pretty good.
Now we can get to anavar. I guess, how'd you feel about anavar whenever you took it?
Felt great. Energy was definitely high. Strength was high. I took it with other supplements as well, so can't point other success to it. But when I take these things, it's usually impaired with other stuff. And I felt pretty good on it though.
Okay, got you. You mentioned a little bit about like these like bigger like I guess like supplement like stacks, I guess. Would you say it's like a really big stack or like a really like hefty one?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, these are still definitely things that you're going to notice a difference when you take. But from what you hear from a crazy gym bro or a pro bodybuilder, it's not that high of a dose.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get. I wanted to make sure that like people weren't thinking like it's like oh he's taking anavar, but he's also taking trend, so it's like who knows.
Yeah, I'm not that open with like others.
All right, how long did you take anavar, and I guess like roughly like what did you notice anything coming off of it?
Took it for about 3 months, and hopping off of it, mind you, was still on other supplements. Didn't notice such a difference, but I did notice performance in the gym lagged a little bit.
So would you say that like adding the anavar in addition to like the other things you were taking specifically increased performance in the gym?
Yes.
Okay, got you. Can you kind of give it a rough idea of like how big of like any like different doses you've taken? Like, do you know how big of a dose you've taken of any of these things roughly? You don't have to give like exact like milligrammage, but like would you say it's a small dose, medium, large dose, astronomically crazy dose?
It would definitely be between small and medium.
Okay, got you. Okay, and then furthermore, if you had to compare like turkesterone to either the MK or the anavar, like what would your, I guess, verdict be on comparing and contrasting them?
Yeah, turkesterone would be an inferior supplement.
Inferior in terms of like side effects or like energy or like gym gains or just, I guess, overall or
any of the positives you would want from a muscle building supplement, you just don't get it from it.
Is turkesterone ever something that you would run in the future anymore or
no, never again. Probably.
Damn it. All right, for sure. Well, thank you, my good sir, for your time.
Sure.
Now, I know you're probably like, oh, this guy probably lied on your behalf. You probably paid him off and gave him a rusty trombone while you're at it. I understand that point. However, what if I told you that there are inconsistencies with how Greg portrays the feeling of these products too? You see, one of the parts of my vid that Greg conveniently cut out, I showed a video where he compared anavar to two SARMs, specifically LGD4033 and S4. And in that video, he said anavar is undoubtedly the strongest of the three. He said I'd feel next to nothing with low-dose anavar. So let's go ahead and see what he said about S4 and LGD.
How does it make you feel? Well, overall, it should make you feel pretty damn good. So day one, I go to the gym. It was insane, the difference.
So now you're saying that despite anavar feeling like nothing, it's stronger than a thing you described as feeling pretty damn good and something you described as mind-blowing. Does this little concoction of things even sound worth it? Like, especially whenever you take into account the Turk Builder. If you're taking the full dose, the 3 capsules, you only get 13 servings out of a $64 bottle. Let's stick with the HTLT supplements. Wouldn't I get better results by just buying creatine, getting 10 pounds of muscle in a week, and getting strength better than the turkesterone without all the appetite increase and aggression and all that shit? And then just buying like your GO2 max thing for endurance if I really wanted that on there too. One last little bit of backtracking he does is in the video I reacted to, he said to everybody who's enhanced, why don't you try coming off of your gear and see how much gains you can keep if you just run turkesterone? And I said something like, who the fuck is going to do that? And so play the clip, bro.
And so you're blasting testing trend right now. You know all good things come to it again. You're going to have to go off. Perhaps you put on 20 pounds of muscle. Would you want to keep 10 or 15? Or would you rather lose 15 or 10? Which sounds better? Keeping more of the muscle that you built while taking steroids or losing more? And so I'm not saying that everyone taking test and trend is suddenly going to stop taking it and use Turk Builder instead, but certainly it could help them lower their dose or perhaps come off and cycle on and off, because most people doing steroids are taking it perhaps for 12 weeks on, 12 weeks off. And then when they're in their off period, they might take Turk Builder to help keep more of their gains.
And then now he's saying this, play the clip, blank, new Greg clip. No, Greg, you didn't say that. You didn't say, oh, this can be an aid whenever you're coming off of your stuff. You literally said, come off of your stuff and see how much gains you can keep.
The results are phenomenal. And even if you're on steroids, maybe go off of them and take this and see how much gains you can keep. It's that effective.
You see how those two things have very different implications. Because that video was an ad, I feel like it was structured on purpose that way. I feel like it was structured that way on purpose. Hey, why don't we talk about women? If you were saying it doesn't have steroid-like gains, it has steroid-like effects, then why did you tell women it would be a good alternative to taking gear?
Women out there, this is so good, because if you're a woman and you're taking steroids and you get the deeper voice and you get like the hair growth, and you can take this instead and get like freaking jacked and ripped from it without the androgenic side effects.
You know, whenever you yammer on about the steroid-like effects of a supplement, you also try to go through all this effort to say it's the same as anavar. You also try to go through the extra effort to point out that it's on the watch list so that you can try to maybe get it closer to that steroid-like category. And then on top of that, you recommend it as an alternative to steroids for women. One may come to the conclusion that you are implying that this product has steroid-like gains. You know, Greg, your brother said you were going to teach me something, and I think you did teach me something, in fact. I think what you taught me is that if I am vague enough and confusing enough with my claims, then I can get people to buy whatever the f*** I want.